Soul Sparks, where science meets spirit and healing becomes a lifestyle. I'm your host, Saima, and today's guest is our amazing Angie Gallagher, a functional medicine wellness coach, HeartMath practitioner, and cardiac rehab veteran who's helping people rewire their health by starting where it all begins, the heart. We'll explore why the heart is more than just a pump. It's the body's third brain, and it may hold the key to unlocking deep healing, calm, and clarity in both body and mind. NG, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely to be here.
You're warmly welcome, NG, and I'm really looking forward to some meaningful experience for you. So, NG, you have said the heart is like our third brain. So I'm really eager to know, can you break that down for us? And how does the heart really think?
Yeah, absolutely. So the heart actually has its own independent neural network. So we like to think that the brain's in charge of everything, and it is in charge of a lot, right? But if there was for some reason we had a cutoff of the neural impulses from the brain to the heart would still keep beating at 30 beats a minute. So that's not enough to to maintain life for very long or to maintain a lot of functionality, but the heart has its own ability to deliver its own neural impulses to keep it beating if something were to happen from the signaling from the brain. So we know right away that the heart has its own neural um, uh, pacemaker, its own inherent pacemaker. And so we also know that the signaling that from the heart actually we call it afferent. There's efferent and afferent signaling, and there's more signaling from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart. And people get really surprised when we think about that because you think the brain is just sending, it's just the command center for the whole body. But actually, the heart actually sends more signals efferently up from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart. And so, what do we do with that information? And so they started years and years ago. They started looking at what does this mean, and when if we can, if the heart is sending more signals to the brain, and it's not only sending signals to the brain, it's sending signals to the whole rest of the body. So, what can we do with that? That's what. And so, HeartMath is the technology that they have come up with to really study this. So yeah, to answer your question, the heart has its own neural fibers, neural network that can pace itself if the signaling from the brain is cut off, and it sends signals to the rest of the body, and it has an electromagnetic field that also extends outside the body. So yeah, that was a lot of information, but just to kind of give you that foundation.
Mhm. That's such a powerful way to look at it, honestly. And I love how you connected the science with the emotional intelligence aspect. It really brings a concept to life. And like you explained it in a way that's deeply grounded in reality. That really hits home.
Yeah, yeah. And there's just so much we can do with it. That's the cool part.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now you specialize in heart coherence. So what is it exactly and like why is it a game changer for nervous system health?
Yes, yes. So heart coherence refers to the organization of the timing between heartbeats. So when our heart is if an EKG says our heart is beating at 60 beats a minute, or that's typically that's a typical healthy resting heart rate. So if it's beating 60 beats a minute, it's not beating exactly 60 beats a minute. If you look at it in terms of nanoseconds, there is an ebbing and flowing of that heart rate. And so, what we're looking at, if we were to look at it and measure it in nanoseconds, that the heart is gradually speeding up and it's gradually slowing down. We don't see that with the naked eye, of course, but the technology, HeartMath technology, can tell us that. So we can see both an increasing and a decreasing of the heart rate, and then we can also look at that in terms of how organized is that. So how much does it increase and decrease? What is the magnitude of that increasing and decreasing, and how organized is the pattern of that? And those two things together make up the heart coherence. And what we want to see is we want to see a wide, um, we want to see an organized pattern, and we want to know that the heart rate can increase and decrease in a fairly broad magnitude, and that's our heart rate variability. So heart rate variability is the magnitude of change between, the increasing and the decreasing of the heart rate, if that makes sense. So that's the quantifiable, and then the qualifiable is the organization of the increasing and decreasing, and that's the coherence. So when we are out of coherence, it means that there's a very disorganized increasing and decreasing of our heart rate in milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so with low HRV, we have less resilience in our nervous system. We have less resilience. We have less, it reduces our longevity. We tend to be more in our fight or flight. We tend to be more anxious, agitated. And when we're in coherence, when we have nice organization of that increasing and decreasing, we feel more calm. We feel more grounded. Generally, our heart rate variability is going to be better, and we're going to have better nervous system resilience and better longevity, better immune health, and just better cognitive functioning.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense, Angie. Like the way you link heart coherence to nervous system regulation is eye opening. And you broke that down so clearly. It really shifts how we think about stress and resilience. That really highlights how powerful and practical this work is.
Absolutely. And people, I think we get stuck at this idea that we have to start with the brain, and then we have to retrain the brain, and everything has to start with the brain. But when we can get into our body, because some people, it's like they're so in their head all the time anyway, and then to have them be in their head even more, trying to work their way out of anxiety or work their way out of feeling stressed, it's just adding more stress. Their brain is like, I can't do anymore. I'm already maxed out. But when we can get into the body and get into the heart, and let everything happen from the bottom up, and just get, so in a HeartMath session, what I would do with somebody is I would have them change the way they breathe, slow down their breathing, have a heart-centered focus, and think about the heart, see the heart as an energetic field and not just a pump, and activate a feeling of gratitude, love, or appreciation while doing that. So they're not really trying to think their way out of feeling stressed. They're feeling their way out of being stressed. They're starting with the heart and building that coherence, and then letting that coherence send signals to the brain of harmony, of calm, and of peace. And so it can be a game changer for people who have tried for years to overcome PTSD, or, social anxiety, or performance anxiety, or, all these things that they want to try to think their way out of.
That's noteworthy. Now, let's connect the dots to the gut. So, how does gut health influence our emotional state and how is it linked with the heart again?
Yeah. So, and this can get really complicated, but so we now know, we think of the brain, the brain as our primary brain, but now we also recognize the enteric nervous system. The gut is kind of our second brain, because so many neurotransmitters are actually made in the gut. I think it's like 70 to 90% of our neurotransmitters are actually made in the gut. And so what's happening in terms of how we feel, right? Our level of contentedness, our level of excitement or happiness or joy, like these are neurotransmitter functions, and those neurotransmitters are built in the gut and in that microbiome. So we really have to take care of our gut. We have to understand, what does it mean to have good gut health, and what are the symptoms of not having good gut health? And many people don't understand this. And the gut is truly the gateway to all health and all disease. So when our gut is not intact, when we don't have a nice, healthy, intact gut wall, a nice mucosal layer that's really preventing things from getting through the gut wall that shouldn't get through, when we
Mhm.
don't have that, we end up with what we call leaky gut, and then what gets through the gut wall that shouldn't be getting through the gut wall then also can enter circulation, and then it can end up getting circulated to the brain. So that's where we talk about crossing the blood-brain barrier. So but with a unhealthy gut wall, which I think most people are walking around with because they don't understand how modern lifestyles and processed foods and chemicals and just all the junk in our environment is affecting their gut, and they're not aware that their gut is leading to issues with anxiety, depression, cognitive issues, brain fog. And so, recognizing the gut as that second brain and doing everything we can to heal the gut. And that's what I do a lot in my program, is helping people understand. And it doesn't mean that you have specific gut symptoms. Your symptoms could be brain fog, anxiety, depression, poor focus, all of these things that we don't think of as gut issues, but they truly can be starting and stemming from the gut. So the gut is the second brain, the heart is the third brain, and the heart actually does send signals to the gut. So the heart sends signals out to all of the different systems of the body. And so when our heart is in coherence and we're feeling calm and grounded and connected, then that's sending proper signals of harmony to the gut, which is going to help improve gut health. The microbiome is affected by our levels of stress.
Mhm.
Does that
It
make sense?
mm,
I hope. It's a
that
lot.
completely makes sense. It's fascinating, to realize that how much influence our gut and heart have on our mental and emotional balance. And I absolutely love how you're weaving the heart, brain, and gut together. It really shows how interconnected our systems are. That's such an important reminder again.
Oh, absolutely. They're so connected. Nothing is in isolation in the body. And when I worked in cardiac rehab, we were very isolated in our approach. And I just that's what got me eventually to outward and look to a different model for healthcare, because we were just so siloed. And I didn't realize at the time I had patients that were complaining about different things, gut issues. They were on medications to lower stomach acid. They were on all these different things, and I couldn't connect the dots then. And now I wish I could go back and I could, take the information that I know now and help those patients that were struggling then. But we didn't know, and the cardiologist didn't know. They still probably don't know that a patient that's sitting in front of them with heart problems, it could very well be starting at their gut, and they don't know that, and they don't know how they, of course, to counsel the patient to heal that. So I love that I get to do this work now.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much of sense, I must say. Now, your personal life seems to reflect your coaching, trail runs, and meditation, health meals. So, how important is, embodiment in your healing philosophy?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I think most people who know me or follow me know that, for me, connection to nature is crucial, and I really try to get all of my clients to understand, like, getting out into natural spaces and what that does for our gut and for our heart. So, I mean, and anyone that's listening, and if you've been out into a natural space, in the woods, in the mountains, at the ocean, you feel more alive. You feel different. It feels different to be out there, to connect with the trees. There's terpenes in the air. There's microbes in the air. When we expose ourselves to different natural spaces, we actually expose our gut, to these different microbes, and this is all part of what we need. We need that diversity. We get stuck in these, inside boxes with inside artificial light, and we're not connecting to nature. We're not getting out and getting what we truly need, what we've always needed to really keep our circadian clock functioning normally. And that gets to a whole nother topic, which is living in circadian rhythm. But I know that my health at my age is truly, um, because of so much of my time spent outdoors. So we get energy from the sun, we get energy from the earth. I'm hugging trees when I'm on trail runs. My goal is to do retreats and get more people, to actually come with me, get outside and hug trees with me and ground to the earth with me and get that natural light and experience it for themselves.
Mm. That's embodiment in action, I must say. It's really inspiring, to see someone model that so consistently. And I can already feel the integrity in that. It's not just theory for you, right? It's a lived experience. And that really sets a tone for others. When people see you walking the path, it gives them permission to do the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, work will always be there. The emails will always be there. The dishes will always be there. But your health is not always going to be there if you don't invest in it every single day. So learning what it takes, putting into practice these little things, it doesn't, and I just tell people, you don't have to go join a gym. You don't have to spend hours lifting weights or working out on the equipment. Just simply move your body outside. It doesn't take any money. It doesn't even take that much time. And it's so convenient to be able to just step outside and put your feet in the grass. I mean, there's so much beauty and there's so much, it saddened me when COVID happened and so many people couldn't go to their gyms and their health deteriorated and they gained weight. And this is just like, oh my gosh, we need people to understand you don't have to go to a gym. There's so many ways to move your body and take care of your health without having to go to these artificially lit places with equipment. We can do it in our living rooms. We can do it in our backyard. We can do it in the woods near our home. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this.
Yes, 100%. I completely agree with that, Angie. Now, like, how can someone, shift from just preventing disease to actually thriving?
Mm, yeah, well, it comes back to recognizing our three brains, right? So we want to take care of our brain, our primary brain, by continually learning, by challenging ourselves. I There's a part of the brain called the anterior midcingulate cortex, and this is the part of the brain that when we challenge ourselves, when we do hard things, when we do the thing that maybe we've been putting off because we don't want to do it and we maybe aren't confident about being able to do it, and then we do it, we activate that center of that part of the brain. And when we light that part of the brain up, it creates like more desire and more confidence to do the next hard thing. So challenging ourselves, doing the hard thing, getting out of our comfort zone, that's really going to help keep the primary brain um, just really alive and working well. And then our second brain, our gut brain, recognizing like what are we doing to take care of that? Are we eating healthy whole foods and really avoiding the processed stuff that's coming out of boxes and bags? Are we eating reasonable amounts of food? Are we giving ourselves plenty of time in between meals to let our gut to be able to repair and reset and not be constantly feeding ourselves? And our third brain, are we getting quiet? Are we deep breathing? Are we recognizing that our heart is more than just an anatomical pump? And can we breathe and focus on that heart center, activate those feelings of gratitude, love, and appreciation, and do that on a regular basis? We will find ourselves becoming more grounded in our nervous system, feeling more calm, feeling less triggered, being able to handle stressful situations without getting nearly as frazzled. I mean, these are all the beautiful benefits of really practicing that heart focused breathing and meditation. So I guess those would be, and then just getting outside for the benefit of all of those brains. Like all three of our brains benefit from being in natural places. Direct sunlight affects our neurotransmitters, affects our hormones. Connecting to the earth affects our electromagnetic field and our electric charge. So those would be, I guess, my big ones.
Mm-hmm. That really reframes the whole conversation around health, like from fear-based to possibility-driven. And I love that thriving as an active choice, not just, the absence of illness. That's so inspiring.
Absolutely. We all deserve to thrive, and that's what I tell people that I work with. You deserve to thrive late into life, and our bodies are capable of that when we take care of them the right way.
Yes, that's a beautiful reminder. Angie, thank you for bringing heart, science, and soul to the space. And to all our listeners out there, if you have been feeling out of sync, it might be time to listen to your real inner compass, your heart. So breathe deeper, live slower, heal from within, and remember, coherence isn't just a practice, it's a protocol.